Hello, welcome to Tilted Perceptions podcast starring me, Jimmy B. This is episode 6. Let's talk about the TikTok ban that happened. I know it was all over the internet last night that TikTok shut down, and let's talk about why. First of all, that it made its way all through Congress and Senate, all the way to the Supreme Court. And the excuse that they use of it being China, China spying on us, stealing our data. Maybe I'm just a conspiracy theorist, but I don't think it had anything to do with China. The way that this world is, and I mean, there's so many apps from all different countries, and I'm sure if anybody wanted to breach and take our data, it wouldn't be too hard. I don't think that has anything to do with it at all. In my opinion, the reason they wanted to ban TikTok is because people are sharing information, factual information of stuff that's going on around the world, and they don't have any way to censor it. They don't have any way to put their greedy hands on it and manipulate the American people. Although I have noticed that some things have been semi-censored on there. So, I mean, at some point it could be just like Facebook or Instagram or whatever. But as stuff is happening in real time, people are going on TikTok and sharing what's happening. For example, if there was an explosion in my backyard, like a terrorist attack, and say it was a drone fired a missile as a terrorist attack and it hit my backyard. If I was in my backyard and happened to be filming and got a video of a drone hovering over my house, firing a missile into my backyard, and I went on the internet and shared that, it would be really hard for the government to manipulate the American people and try to say that it wasn't a terrorist attack with a drone. They could easily spin the narrative to whatever they want. And that's like kind of an extreme example, although not really extreme. So I'm more inclined to believe the average American Joe or the average American Jane that is just minding their own business and happen to be recording something or around an event that's happening in real time and showing a video and like giving their testimony based on what they seen, than I would ever believe some mainstream media news reporter that gets paid millions of dollars to be in front of a TV screen. There's a reason that they get paid so much money. They get paid to lie. I don't believe anything that I hear on the news anymore at all. It's so bad and they lie so much that I have no reason whatsoever to believe anything they tell me anymore. And they get paid millions of dollars to do it. There's a lot of people like me, but there's a lot of people that are not. There's a lot of people that will believe wholeheartedly everything that they hear on the news. And so, back to TikTok, they they don't want American people to share information. They don't want you getting the real news. They don't want you to come together. They don't want you to know what's really going on. It's corrupt. It's absolutely 100% government corruption. And not only so, I said all that to say this. Sure, it's just an app, right? Do I think that this digital technology age is bad for people? Yes. Do I think it's bad for kids to be on their phone all the time? Yes. Am I on my phone too much? Yes. But I honestly look at TikTok like a news source, a place where I can find information where I probably would have a hard time finding that information anywhere else. Let me use another example. There's a lot of people that are Christians that believe the story of Jesus and that he was crucified and died on the cross. There are also people who believe that that's a lie and that we came from a Big Bang theory or whatever. Who's to say who's right and who's wrong? Anyone should be able to look up that information, right? You could go online, you could find a boatload of information about Jesus and the Bible and Christian values and uh, the crucifixion and whatnot. You could also go online and find lots of information about the Big Bang Theory and the scientific approach to how this universe all started. That's great. And we should be able to look at all the information and make an informed decision based on our beliefs and what we feel. But let's transfer that to today's age with all this misinformation and disinformation and narratives and all this other crap. It seems that the government only wants you to see one side. They don't want you to see the other side. Why? Why? So we can't make an informed decision based on our beliefs and our opinions and what we feel? It's wrong. We should be able to see everything. We should be able to put it all out into the open, filter through the bullshit, and make our own conscious, informed decisions. I love a quote that I heard from RFK not long ago, maybe within the last couple months or so. He said, "No government in history has ever censored anyone for lying." Think about that. No government in history has ever censored anyone for lying. They only censor people who tell the truth. That should scare you. That should scare you. No matter what side of the aisle you sit on. And I'm honestly tired of the aisles. I'm tired of it constantly being a fight, a battle of arrogance and opinions, and a battle of I'm superior, I know more. you're a racist, you're a bigot, you're transphobic, you're all these things because you sit on that side of the aisle. It's a bunch of bullshit. I don't know if anyone's aware, but whenever it comes to a presidential election, you got two choices. You got to pick one of the two, basically. Just because you pick one of those two doesn't mean that you believe everything that they stand for or agree with all the policies that they want to put in place, and vice versa. The person that you don't vote for, they might have some decent policies, but you tend to disagree with them more than you agree with the other person. You know what I'm trying to say. But the media has us so twisted up and manipulated that even though we don't technically agree with some form or policy that is happening within our side of the aisle, we will still defend it with absolute truth and certainty and go to war with other people because we can't come up with enough humility to admit that the other person is right. It's bananas. It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane that that's the way we think today. And it's all by design. I've talked about this before. It's all by design. They want us to hate each other. They want the aisles. There should be no color. There should be no red. There should be no blue. It should all be one party for the American people. But it's not. So how does this tie into TikTok? That's the problem. It seems like this administration that is on its way out really likes to censor people. They like to, and if you've seen Mark Zuckerberg's podcast appearance on Joe Rogan recently, he talked about how he was pressured, to censor things. And some of the stuff I take with a grain of salt because I don't know what to believe anymore. But I do know that they like to censor people, and I'm one of them. Okay, check it out. So I never used to really speak my mind or opinion on hot topics. I kind of just kept to myself and talked about my family or recovery because I've been sober a while or whatever, share pictures. I never really wanted to get into any controversy. I honestly hated politics. I didn't want anything to do with it. Maybe it's because I'm getting older and I have children. I don't know. But I started paying a little bit more attention over the course of getting older. And I've always been a pretty open minded individual. I've never really felt like I've been told the truth on the news. Let me put it this way, I've always been skeptical. Skeptical of what's been fed to me. Maybe it's my intuition. I've just been skeptical. Like, I don't know if what is being fed to me is the truth. I've also had a tendency to want to pay attention to the person that they want to be quiet. So if a person is saying something that is controversial, but they don't want nobody to hear that and they're trying to censor them, I'm more inclined to pay attention to what that person is trying to say. Maybe there's some truth to it. And so, for example, on social media, yes, I lean to the right. Big deal. I'm an American. I can vote for whoever I want. If you don't like it, whatever. You can vote for whoever you want. Cool. So, but that really has nothing to do with it. So my thing is if 89% of the time a certain narrative is blasted on every internet outlet, on every social media page, and it's just this is the narrative, and this is what mainstream media is talking about, and uh, this is what everybody's starting to believe, and with all the catchphrases and whatever. All I'm trying to do is share the opposite, just to make people aware that, hey, there's another opinion. There's some other people out there that don't believe that this is true, and this is what they think. And if you really think about democracy, when you're in a democratic type of environment, when it comes to making decisions, you have a minority opinion. And you need to hear the minority opinion, because the minority opinion sometimes has the potential to sway a vote. So you need to hear everybody opinion. When you're taking a group conscience of the United States of America. So if 89% of the people are posting one thing, I'm part of the 11% of the people that is trying to post other information, yet I post it, but nobody can see it. For example, I post a picture of my daughters, I post a picture of my dog, I post some inspirational passage or message. Everybody sees it. I get a lot of likes, I get a lot of hearts, get a lot of comments. Cool. I post a video of somebody sharing their opinion that doesn't align with the majority. Nobody sees it. It's not in the algorithm. That bothers me. That bothers me a lot. And the crazy thing is, I wouldn't see a lot of this stuff if it wasn't for apps like TikTok, which is why I hate that they banned it. Although I did see that it's reinstated already. And maybe that's, I don't know. I don't know. If it is reinstated and it's back up and running, that's great. Just from the sense that I can get somewhat all different types of information and different views of different people, and make my own informed decisions, and not have it completely censored or shut off like other platforms. So back to how I started this thing. I don't think China has anything to do with the ban on TikTok. Not at all. It has everything to do with government overreach, everything to do with censoring the American people. It's not right. We need to take our country back. And there's lots of crazy stuff going on in this world. Tomorrow we're getting a new president in the office, President Trump. I wish him the best of luck. I hope that he does what he says he's going to do. I really like the team that he has around him. I hope that people are held accountable in government positions. I feel like it's so far gone and so far corrupt that most of the politicians in Washington just have been lining their pockets with our money for years and decades, and they're in a position of power, and they have absolutely lost complete control of morals and the right things. I don't feel like anything that the government does is comes from a place of trying to help people. It comes from a place of what's going to make them more money, and that's a sad reality of where we're at today. Because Americans are bleeding financially. We're struggling. Thank God I, make decent money and um, can afford stuff. Not everybody makes decent money. A lot of people are struggling. So there's a overhaul that needs to happen for sure. I know that some people will watch this and they will just tend to not agree since I'm not liberal, and I hate that. I honestly, one of the reasons I started this podcast is in hopes that I can come on here and just talk about things and like start discussions or conversations without arguing about everything. It's like I feel like when I just post things online or I use words that are typed into the app, that it gets taken out of context constantly, when really I want everyone to come together. I want what's best for everyone. I don't hate anybody. Do I like everyone? No. I try not to hate anybody. And I generally want what's best for all of us. And what I see, and it's honestly not hard to see if we just step away. If we could take the political blinders off for just like 2 or 3 minutes, step away from the situation and look at it from a whole. Most people with critical thinking skills will see that we're being played. We're just pawns in this game for elites and people in power. And they just keep getting rich, and they keep stealing our money, and we keep letting them. And then they pass these bills, and we're all excited about them, and we vote for them and these propositions, and really it just allows them. We're basically signing papers that allows them to steal more of our money, and yet they don't do their job, and no one's holding them accountable to do their job. We need accountability back. I hope they fire 85% of the government. I hope they put term limits on Congress people. I hope they do a lot of things because the way we're headed now, I mean, pretty soon they'll have 75% of my money and ask me to be okay with it. I'm not okay with that. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. Peace and blessings to you and your families. I'll see you next time.